Okay, so we got this CM846, I think it is here. Basically the same. So we got damage on the board here, and we got to pull the diode off. You may or may not be able to see that clearly what I'm pointing to, but good enough. We're gonna give you the best that we can on this video. Maybe I'll lower this down to get a better angle. Okay, we're restarting with a different angle. So we're going to get in here. We got to get this diode off. We got to repair a trace right here that's blown out from the reverse polarity damage. I'm going to hit it with some flux here, and here, just for helping and assisting in removal. We're going to grab my iron. And I'm using that hot air to assist. Let's get some I'm going to try to lower this down first a little bit closer before I jack my heat up. Turn something like that. I think it's pretty damn close. Turn the airspeed up some. A little bit more temp since I don't got the distance. We're going to grab some tweezers. We're going to just hit this thing a little bit and if that's okay, we're going to move. Okay, so I'm going to just hit this a little bit and run this back and forth, drag it, preheat it a little bit. This board sucks the hell out of the heat from it. We're going to run it back and forth on both sides a few times as this hot air continues to assist with additional heat. That there and move my fume extractor there. Hopefully it'll drag as much of that as possible into it. It's not the strongest fume extractor in the world. You may have to give it a little bit more airspeed or heat. Try that. This is the first time for me using the Atten hot air gun, hot air station, I mean. So I've got to fine tune my settings so I get used to this thing. Starting to see it flow a little bit. Probably could use a wider tip here. This tip is a little from the thin side for heat transfer. Not seeing it move much yet. I'll try to get this a little closer in there. I did preheat the board. See that flow from what I can tell. I can't get my microscope in here with the way I got this bent open. I do not want to open this thing all the way. I just want to be able to get it open enough to work. And I can usually do this by hand here and not need the microscope. There it goes. It's off. We're going to cut the hot air off. That's starting to cool down and it'll shut off here in a moment. So while I have this off, I can test this with my meter in diode mode. Is it in there? As you can see, that's shorted in one direction. Shorted in both directions. This also blows open the trace on the board, so I'll have to repair it. And what I'll do is I'll cut the hot air back on and maybe just turn it down a notch. Let's go back to 350 Celsius, 380 Celsius. I'll try to get this thing cleaned up. Alright, so as you can see, that's blown out. That's no good. That diode is no good. So we got to get a new diode. And we're going to wick this old solder up. Got a new pack of a good wick. We'll try that. Clippers. some more off as needed. And we'll take this here, grab it with our tweezers. Let's get some flux on there. We'll grab the iron. And as I said, this is not quite big enough. It would be a lot easier with a larger profile tip for heat transfer. And this wick is really beautiful. I've never used a good wick, and this is my first time using it. It's actually very nice compared to what I normally use. You can hardly see that probably, but that sucked that solder up very easily compared to what I'm used to on cheaper brands. So remember that, you get what you pay for, and the good wick is worth buying. This stuff is nice. Alright, now our new diode with no solder on the bottom of it. I lied. I've used this one before for practice. No. I didn't use it for practice. I used it for testing on one. It is a good diode. We'll get an open OL on that. I think I put it on the same way as I had it. So we're going to do this one here. Huh. Okay, that's a good diode. We're going to set it there and just see how she sits. Make sure we got all our solder up off of the board. Sits pretty good there. So we're going to go ahead and add some flux. And get my favorite solder right here. Let's add some solder to our tip. And I'll start with, I'm gonna hold this guy down. I'll actually start with holding from side to side with the tweezers. Looks fairly squared. If your tweezers aren't long enough, there's a lot of heat being generated and you're going to feel that on your hands. Come around the back side of it. Add just a hair more solder. Probably ought to clean that tip. hit the other side of the wide section of the diode. A little more flux on there. More. What's our airspeed on? Now I'm going to patch up the broken trace. I'm going to cut this off for right now. So it's out of my way. I'm going to clean that trace section up. Get all the loose green part of the board, the coating of the board off. There'll probably be a few loose flakes here. And we'll also get it scratched up a little bit in the copper. I'll try to push down on any edges that are raised up if I can. And we got a little bit of a gap there, so it might be wise to put a piece of copper in it. Trace repair pad or something of that nature. I'm going to pause the camera and go get that trace material. I really only probably need, let's get a little measurement here. Might be a little bit on the extra side. Don't need all of it. So what I'll do is I'll come back a little bit. Can you see this? So I measured here. I'll come back a little bit. We don't need all of that. I'll just trim through here. It's not the best cut, is it? Pressed into it to slice it. It doesn't have to be pretty. I'll get rid of that piece I messed up on. It doesn't have to be perfect. So I'm gonna grab my tweezers and extract that piece of pad. Tweezers might have some build up on them, so it's hard to grab it good. There we go. Didn't cut it good. Just press that back to that. And we'll get that put away. And then we're going to go in here and just manually do this by hand. Let me get this cleaned up a little bit and straightened out. I definitely need to clean these tweezers. Ooh, definitely clean those tweezers. They're sticking together big time. Flux. Alright, I'll flatten this out pretty decent here. I'll get my flux, add flux to the trace area. I've already brushed and cleaned it. I probably ought to get a good look under the camera. That goes back that way. I think I should get a look under the camera at this board first to see. So let's just take this over here. And there is the trace that's busted open. Okay, so yeah. Now let's get this in here. We'll take, I should have another set of tweezers somewhere. I thought. Maybe I don't. Yeah, I should have another set of weird tweezers like that. There they are. Probably, but I have a 90 set someplace that aren't been put away. So hopefully those didn't get lost or stolen. Definitely don't see them. Anyway, continuing on. We're going to need some more we're going to clean this tip. Somebody probably stole them for a roach clip. It would have been probably perfect for that. And that should do the trick nicely. And marry these two sections back together. Get in there, work between all these tools and equipment, make sure that I don't pull that pad out with the melted solder, the liquefied solder. So that's that. I'll get some more flux and you don't need a whole ton of flux, but the more the better. You don't want to hold that much heat at that much time on most boards. This is a very unique situation here with this board. And I might have a gap there that's not allowing me to connect these two sections. I think I just got it. There we go. Let's drag that all through here. Fill the gap. Oh yeah. Now, we'll take our meter in diode mode, not diode mode, in continuity mode. And we're just going to check and see if we got a good connection here. Let's see if I can grab a good point here. This pin should be on a power pin. If I think it's on this layer. Let's see. Yep. So one of these pins should be the power. It's the power or ground. It might be ground. I can't remember. I gotta flip it over and look. I'm pretty sure that's power. Either way, just coming to the side here. I'm gonna hit this capacitor right there, and I have pretty damn good continuity in that. Now I could come through and clean this up a little bit more with the solder if I think I need to. I'll start by cleaning off the flux and inspecting it to see if I need to go any further. Okay, I'm just going to clean this up. That actually looks better than I thought it did. Some angles and lighting sometimes will mess with you a little bit. Get all this flux cleaned up. It really does coat the flux sometimes on these boards. Not the best visuals, not the best equipment for doing video on this type of work, but it gets the job done. So now we're going to get a Q-tip, come back and clean all that stuff up. Haven't really been motivated to do too many videos and stuff. But all that looks beautiful. Get that cleaned up a little bit more in there. I'm sure that I can get some comments and criticism on this stuff if I really asked for it. And I assure you, brush it really nice and good. We'll come back with another Q-tip. The other side of that, all that dirt, all that gook and flux. I'll hit it again with some alcohol. Try to get as much of that out as I can. if there's wet alcohol still on the board, I'll just continue to wipe. Try to get as much up that I can. See that come out of nowhere? Just pick it up with the Q-tip. Pick up the Q-tip. And if I really wanted to, I could get some solder mask and coat this here for longevity. But this thing, I bet it's going to go right back out, and within a year or two, they're going to hit the vehicle with a welder to jump start it and do the same exact thing. So here it is. We're done.